Let's go see what Bill's up to. Hey, Bill. What about those routers?
Hey, Trevor. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well. It's been an exciting 24 hours or so. We dropped the big release, if you will, teasing how the routers work and the fact that you can see it on the blockchain of them functioning. But can you explain it a little bit more?
You know, I can tell you how I felt. And spending as much time as we have has been just, it has been a real interesting journey. Day after day after day after day. The vision that we had was super innovative to the degree that it was definitely going to make a difference. People that truly understand the automatic market makers and how these things work, dealing with what I would call tokenomics of these projects, even projects that don't have tokenomics, going in there and just really working with these projects has been interesting to track historical data to know whether or not the actual values and how they move and the psychology behind each market. Especially new projects, maybe a project a couple months old, you got new communities forming, it's a lot going on all within the space of a project. But when the project has 10% tokenomics, 5%, whatever the number is, 15%, you've got basically a challenge. And the challenge really lies in, it's not an authentic market. It requires, currently in PancakeSwap and Ethereum, on Uniswap side, you've got all these artificial sales of swaps from the contracts, which is just causing a nightmare for, multiple sales an hour, multiple sales a day, and it just looks like, you've heard the term slow rug, right?
Yeah.
You hear people say it all the time. People that don't know any better, and they see and figure out the fact that the contract keeps selling just to be able to keep up with its transaction volume, is just not very, positive for the market. And looking at the other possibilities of what these routers will do, there are actually, I just got done telling you earlier about the effect it's going to have on bots.
Right.
And that's actually wildly exciting. Because don't fool yourself. The fact that it's a router doesn't mean it's compatible with the existing code or logic behind the bots that are currently out there.
Right.
Those bots are built for the old router system. They're built for a router system that swaps 100% of the transaction prior to redaction of the tokens for tokenomics. Ours takes out the BNB first and swaps the rest. So a lot of people, the bots can drain, but how much of the transaction are they really draining? It's usually less than 10. It's usually less than 5. In most cases, an average bot is draining 2 or 3% of the transaction, right? So if that's the average, and we're already reducing that percentage by about 10%, where do you think they're going to live if they run the current logic behind a bot?
They're going to live in the red.
They're right. So what does a bot do? A bot drains the liquidity pool for a token project, right?
Right.
So if currently the way that it's set up, they're averaging 2-3%, that means they're draining 2-3% on average for every transaction that they run, and they just run autonomously forever.
Right.
I mean, in perpetuity if they choose to, depending on who's operating in, if they want to turn on, turn off, for whatever reason. In this case, which is what makes this so much fun, in this case, we've already reduced it by 10%. So only 90% or 80% or 85% max, depending on the tokenomics, even if it's a 5% tokenomic token, that 5% tokenomics is going to reduce it down to, 5%, 95% is only available. So if 95% is available and the average gets 2 or 3, it means it's still in the red by 2 or 3.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
You know what happens when it's in the red, right?
They're not making money.
It adds that money that they put into their front run. It will keep pumping money, BNB or ETH or whatever chain we're on. It'll just keep pumping money into the liquidity pool. So in reverse, the bot is actually got a complete reversal of sorts effect on the project. So instead of it actually draining and taking away from the project, it's becoming like a donor, like they're donating. Whoever it is.
That's kind and considerate of them, right?
Yeah,
there.
it's like a charity. Like they felt they wanted to be a philanthropist and help out and, continue to help base the project, I guess. But I'll be curious to see. Is it not possible? Am I confirming that it's impossible? No, I'm not. I have a lot more logic to sift through, some algos to play with, and some things like that. I've only got a couple hours into really diagnosing if this is 100% real, or is this just on the surface it looks good, but there is a variable or a logic or something behind that they can try to adjust. But we had to mess with a lot of variables in order for these routers to function the proper way.
Right.
Which is where I realized we redacted what the bots currently in today's capacity actually rely on in order to succeed. And you'll see a lot of these bots. I think the average bot is maybe the average bot, if you take all bots in the world that run or operate and how tokenomics change, variances of different tokenomic fees and things like that, about 60% of them actually are successful. About 40% of them, either they obsolete, they weren't built very well, or the variables are a little off, or the settings are wrong. And they're not always failures, but they're not going to succeed very much higher probability of success.
Right.
This is going to be interesting, because if it does what I suspect it to do, it may. There was nothing inadvertent about it. It is very intentional on our part. I mean, I had talked about this with Eric about probably was August timeframe, when we were really diagnosing the different variables for it and getting deep in the weeds on some of that. And that's about the time frame that we mentioned it, but we shelved it. The reason we shelved it is because our confidence level as to whether or not we were right was super low. We didn't have anything to play with yet. Right. So now blockchain, you see it, you saw it last night. Now that we have actual toys to play with, we can go jump in the shed and get the tools out, and we can start playing with the toys, or testing them out to see how strong they are, that type of thing.
Yep.
2 hours I spent last night just deep in the weeds on this thing, and I can't. I mean, anything that I tried to do was not going to work. Every time, I'd say close to 100% of the time, you're always going to be adding liquidity to the pool, no matter how I try. So I'm still going to keep trying, because I may not figure out a way to do it prior to Moonforce hitting. It has to be a profitable bot. It can't be 1 out of 100 transaction was a profitable transaction. But overall, you drain 10 BNB out of your account. I don't care if you get 1 successful transaction. The reason that is potentially possible is just size of a transaction. So your probability of the size of that transaction that you're front running, of it being at the size that you kind of need it to be at for the sale and the buy and the sell on the back end, the probability is low. It's less than 0.5 of 1%.
That's
So
ridiculously
99.9 or 99.5% of the time, you're adding liquidity, my friend.
Again, so generous.
And you don't even get LP tokens for doing it. Can you imagine? That's gonna really hurt when people are like, "Oh man, I added all sorts of liquidity, but I got nothing for it." because I was being a jack and I was trying to steal the liquidity out of the pool.
Yep.
But they're going to have a real Christmas present waiting for them. And especially the guys that are thinking, oh man, I've got the best bot in the world. Yeah, you might have the best bot. Only on PancakeSwap.
Doesn't account for Swap 2.0.
Swap 2.0. You won't be able to penetrate the crust on this thing. Because the pie is going to be protected. 100%. All the pie in that, all the filling, it's preserved. No one ever has to worry about losing their pie, or any other token for that matter, or their moon force, or anything. Worry about waking up and going, why does this just keep slowly going down? Why in the world are we seeing all these sells against the project? Why is 50 billion sold every 10 minutes on average? You won't see community meetings amongst community members saying, what are we going to do about the swap and the contract selling against the project? It's killing us, it's killing us, it's killing us. That won't exist. You know what they will see?
What?
They're going to see buybacks, they're going to see moonshots, they're going to see positive green buys on the market. They'll be able to do things based on the leverage of power. So example being, right, why should anybody look at tokenomics now and just be like, oh, okay, so we're going to take fees to only have to sell the fees against the volume of the project? Why would that be a healthy situation? That means your buy pressure has to maintain a certain variance in order for it to have a positive increase in percentage on a 24-hour period. That's the current way it works, because you have to account for the 10% that you keep dumping on the market. So you need about an offset to be able to get above that and have a positive green number for the day, even if you're running the swap. Pyeswap, there's no requirement. It's a true market. It's an accurate true market. There will never be an artificial sell. In most cases, for what I really believe, and I'm kind of hoping the bounty program isn't successful, because if that's the case, then you're going to have never a time where anybody is going to be selling artificial sales against a token project's market, causing everybody to worry or wonder what's happening, why they keep selling. Slow rug, oh my gosh. No, you won't have those things happen. These will be healthy communities, healthy projects that'll work together. It'll be the biggest synergistic community of projects. Everything that goes live through Moonforce, we will be a part of those projects. We will talk with them. We will work with them. We will support them. We will give them the keys if they don't know what to do with something or they're not familiar. We will be basically their panel of support. And every one of those projects is going to have the power of a developer community behind it. Not just us, but all our other projects that we're connected with. Imagine us having 200-300 projects we launch the next 2 or 3 quarters. Could you imagine having a 200 developer project virtual call where we all get on and we figure out how we can put together the power of leverage of all the projects combined and do all sorts of partnerships and all sorts of development projects together? It's going to turn into what crypto should have been in the first place. Why is everybody trying to outdo the other guy? We can power each other.
That's the Dev Team 6 way.
100%.
There is room in the space for everybody.
There is. And look, I can tell you right now, I mean, truth be told, this is probably, you ask anybody on Dev Team 6, ask anybody that spends 20 minutes with me, and they will tell you my list of concepts, whether it be software concept, hardware concept, or anything in between. My list of concepts, and I call them concepts, what they are visions, project development visions. The list of visions, you've seen it.
I have, yeah.
I mean, you got Imaginable coming. You've got coming soon.
Oh, snap.
It will be sooner than you think. .com, my friend. We ain't playing. Restored.com. That'll be another one of our projects in 2022, 23. The list is ad nauseum. I mean, it's in Cryptic. How many you think? If we took my master list, what would you say is the total?
I can't even count. At least 20.
Oh no, it's higher than that. Well,
Yeah.
you're talking about the master list. I'm saying if I take the rough list is in the hundreds.
Yes.
Yeah, the rough list is in the hundreds. Look, there's so much available opportunity-wise right now in the space, and there's just not enough development access to resource to be able to build that infrastructure fast enough. I say it all the time, there's windows of opportunity, there's days of weeks, months of opportunity. It's just a matter of, are you prepared? And if you are prepared, what is your bandwidth? It's not even real. I don't care if you're Microsoft, I don't care if you're IBM, it doesn't matter if you're Texas Instruments or you're one of these major technology development firms out of Silicon Valley that's helping with startups, etc. It doesn't matter who you are. Your bandwidth is just not big enough to be able to truly accelerate the speed of which crypto should run for is almost unattainable at this point. So we just continuously see the value of this to continue down that road. The only problem is the demand is limited by the access to which utility can actually be engaged and developed and integrated into the spaces that it can actually flourish and reach its full potential. Right now, we're not there. Not just not Dev Team 6, I'm talking about just across the board. So how cool is it going to be when you've got Moonforce and you've got a support team behind it that is there to help lift up the space, that is there to partner with the right developers and bring those developers in under an exclusive community of developers. When you got Pyeswap, not PancakeSwap, Pyeswap. Imagine, hey Trevor, have you ever had any issues on PancakeSwap?
I was buying some pie yesterday and I had issues. It didn't go through right away. I don't know what the problem was. I had to try it a few times, and I mean, I was just going through MetaMask like I normally do.
Yeah.
And it wasn't on my phone, it was the desktop itself, and I was still running into issues, and I had to disconnect, reconnect my wallet, and it was still a little finicky, but it finally went through, thank God, because I know the price of pie has gone up. But yeah, it was not seamless. It was a bit of a hassle.
It wasn't seamless. Now, I'm not going to pretend that those issues won't happen on Pyeswap. I'm not going to pretend. But the difference is you will have someone, it won't go live for about a month, maybe a month and a half max. But we will have live chat.
Oh, wow.
Not Telegram. We will have a Telegram channel that is modded and supported, but we will have our first line of defense as a live chat. If live chat isn't working or if they don't have the ability to do live chat, we'll have a phone number direct that people can call if they feel something happened or they made a mistake or whatever the case may be. We are building a safe exchange. We're going down the road also of possibility of putting together a trust fund for people that make errors.
Oh, wow.
For people that have a real bad day. I'm even trying to go down now. I love the crypto insurance concept and being able to have crypto insurance on your wallet through Pyeswap. The other piece that I do really like is having a reserve. So as our volume grows, as our development and exposure and awareness of Pyeswap grows, the bigger picture is so much clearer. It's about safety, it's about service, it's about confidence. We can talk all day long, but if we can't educate people in the moment right?
Right.
Think about that in the moment. If you can't educate people in the moment, you lose them.
True.
Right? Money is money. Money is very, very sacred, and it's their security.
Yeah.
Without it, they sacrifice and potentially have liability in life, right? So having access to somebody on call real time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and expanding into every language to support everybody worldwide. Educate these people in real time. It's going to make a huge difference. So we can't get mass adoption of cryptocurrency the way PancakeSwap's doing. You can't contact anybody. And if you do contact anyone, you think you can get a response in
A timely fashion.
10 years? I mean, I can say I've got 2 tickets outstanding with Binance.us right now.
Oh, it took them 4 months to get back to me. It was ridiculous.
Oh, they're sitting on about 64 BNB of mine. That in very, very long time ago, I forgot the memo.
That was my problem too. I didn't
forgot
realize what
the
it was
memo.
for.
Yeah, I forgot the memo. And I think the first time I did it, I had like 25 BNB that I sent over there for something. Listen, they've never responded. Now, how would it feel if you needed that 25 BNB to cash out to pay your mortgage so that you and your children, your wife could keep your house because you've fallen on hard times?
Yeah. That, I mean...
You wouldn't have had that money. You would have been literally living on the streets by now.
Gut-wrenching.
Right. So people ask, why does people have such a hard time getting into cryptocurrency? It's because there are no real doors.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it took me forever to figure out how to start getting into crypto.
There's windows. The windows aren't even open. There's bars on the windows. I mean, there's really no smooth way to onboard somebody into the cryptocurrency world. Period. There's just no way. There's you go find a friend. You tell me how you would recommend them to get involved in crypto, where you would have them start. What you say to them today will change tomorrow.
True.
And it'll change again next week, and it'll change again the week after, because you just keep discovering what you're seeking to be the one thing in crypto that you have massive confidence in. Because why? It doesn't exist yet. There isn't anything at the level that people would deem to be a standard and an acceptable standard that people can have true, deep confidence in, unwavering confidence that they don't have to question, they don't have to get into second guessing anything. They just know that if they buy or they get involved or they engage with the platform, they know the outcome is exactly what I expect it to be. Right now, you've got people that are on the seeking mission, trying to find all these different ways to engage with crypto at a level of confidence at which they are comfortable with. And that's going to be such a difference for us. It's not going to happen like day one. We're not going to have our entire support team of 200 people sitting by aimlessly waiting for phone calls and live chats. I do believe that in 6 months we will.
I mean, the future of Dev Team 6, our offices are already getting full. We're going to be doing a hiring spree as well.
We have to. We will have multiple locations.
Okay.
Fact is Arizona is going to be our corporate hub.
Oh.
But there's always a chance that we end up with an East Coast central office in the United States. We want the best of the best. We will most likely even look into Silicon Valley at some point in the near probably 2-3 months. We'll be spending some time with some very large investment firms, as well as some entrepreneurs of very nice name, that we will be exploring those options as well as to how we develop Dev Team 6 into an infrastructure for crypto. Not just a contributor, but an infrastructure behind crypto that people can have that confidence level in. We say the things we say. We didn't say them just to be funny. We didn't say things in our past for fun and just to bring up or just kind of have something to say. When we say it, that's what we're driving towards. That's what our passion is taking us to. It's not that we want to be them. I don't idolize to be anybody. What I idolize is to have the most impact on people. And I know the things that you can take from different people in the world, you know, qualities and strengths and impact and influential things that they do. I take a little bit of things from all sorts of people out there. And I'd love to see Dev Team 6 be able to make that level of an impact into crypto. And I'm not talking about just in the space or, you know, utility or anything to do with future technology and blockchain technology. And it's just a different place for us to go, is being the light at the end of the tunnel that this world needs, the humanity needs, for people to see that there is an opportunity to change the world. All right, Trevor, I got work to do.
All right. Thank you for your time.